Tonight, busing concerns. With a bus driver shortage around the region, there's new problems on the horizon.
And plot uncovered. Authorities thwart a plan to kidnap Michigan's governor. What we know about the attempt.
And closed for good. The pandemic claims another Northland restaurant that had been open for decades.
From CBS3 Duluth, this is the CBS3 News at 6.
Good evening, I'm Kristen Bakke.
And I'm Anthony Matt. Thanks for joining us. COVID-19 is adding more stress on bus drivers, a position that was already tough to fill even before the pandemic.
In Barnum, bus drivers were left scrambling this morning trying to find another driver for the afternoon shift after one called in sick and is now getting tested for coronavirus. CBS3's Leanne Valdez spoke with the bus company and explains what happened and what the next steps are.
The Barnum Bus Company isn't at full capacity, and after a day like Thursday, they say they need more drivers now than ever before. It all started when a bus driver started feeling ill Thursday morning after picking up and dropping off elementary and high school students. That's according to the dispatch director for Barnum and Moose Lake Schools, Dan Lingle. The bus driver informed Lingle and then went to get tested for COVID-19. Lingle was stressed as he now had to find an extra bus driver to drop off the kids at home. Lingle says right now Barnum has a full-time or a part-time position open. Meanwhile, Moose Lake is in desperate need of subs for situations like these.
It really is a community effort trying to get the drivers in here to help out, especially during the pandemic right now. It's just any help we can get, we could use.
Barnum High School principal says they're currently working their way through the Minnesota Department of Health decision tree based on Thursday's news. Campbell also says if that test does come back positive, then they will make a call to the regional support team and then start the contact tracing process.
Still no word yet on the bus driver's test results. We'll update you when we learn more about how Barnum schools decide to move forward.
A Hermantown florist is looking to give back and brighten the days of educators during the pandemic. All teachers have to do is show their badge at Engwall's Floral Designs and they will receive a free bouquet of flowers. This Pay It Forward event aligns with World Teachers Day, which is today. Engwall's reps say this is the least they can do for teachers who are having to adapt during unprecedented conditions.
We just wanted to give and show our appreciation, especially with COVID-19 occurring and all the changes they've had to make, and just recognize that they're always putting their students forward.
Teachers can stop by Engwall's today through Saturday to pick up their free flowers.
A new group received $150,000 in grant funding to make sure Duluth students have the equipment they need. Duluth Digital Inclusion Partnership received the money from Connected Minnesota. They'll use it to buy electronic devices. Duluth school officials hope it will help roughly 1,800 students and families who are struggling with the digital divide during COVID-19. Students say this will keep their peers connected while learning in a remote setting.
Especially students who don't have these kinds of connections, especially those people who have isolated themselves many times, trying so hard to make new friends.
This funding will help the district cover the costs for mobile hotspots they've provided for students. It will also ensure students have these devices through the end of the school year.
All right, and Dave's here for a quick look at the weather. Dave, a beautiful day today, but nothing compared to what's on tap for tomorrow, huh?
Yeah, we're going to be busting into the 70s again tomorrow thanks to a warm front passing by tonight. And most of today's temperatures were warmer than normal. The normal's around 55 to 57 degrees, and many of us beat that today into the lower 60s. Still investigating whether that's actual in International Falls at 45 or just a sensor glitch here. Boy, that's a sign of things to come, but not tomorrow. Again, we're going to be on the warmer side for tomorrow. There's that warm front off towards the west. It'll bring a chance for showers after midnight for a few hours, but it's only a 20 to 30% chance. And then the warmth from the west will be with us for Friday. I think we'll start the day probably in the 40s temperature-wise, and with mostly sunny sky in the afternoon. We'll top out at 72 here at the head of the lakes. Farther inland away from the lake, it should be towards the mid-70s, but as early as Saturday, we already dropped back to normal, which is the mid-50s. Like I mentioned, a sign of things to come. Real autumn, could that be with us in the next 7 days after this little tease of summer? I'll let you know in just a few more minutes.
All right, thanks, Dave. New at 6, the man caught on camera attacking a news photographer last week has been cited. The Duluth City Attorney cited Dwayne Waldriff with misdemeanor assault and disorderly conduct. The 70-year-old from southwestern Minnesota was filmed punching a phone out of a photographer's hands before President Trump's rally in Duluth. The photographer initially was not going to file charges, but changed his mind. Waldriff from Lamberton, Minnesota, faces up to 90 days in jail, a $1,000 fine, or both.
In Michigan today, more than a dozen people have been charged in a domestic terror plot to kidnap Governor Gretchen Whitmer at her vacation home. The criminal complaint was unsealed in federal court. The FBI said in the court filing that 4 of the people had planned to meet Wednesday to make a payment on explosives and exchange tactical gear. During a news conference today, the governor addressed hate and white supremacy groups.
Hatred, bigotry, and violence have no place in the great state of Michigan. If you break the law or conspire to commit heinous acts of violence against anyone, we will find you, we will hold you accountable, and we will bring you to justice.
Whitmer also said that Trump's stand back and stand by comments in the presidential debate were a call to action to these groups.
A federal appeals court blocked an extension of Wisconsin's absentee ballot deadline. Democrats proposed extending the deadline by 6 days for counting absentee ballots in Wisconsin, as they're expecting historic mail-in ballots amid the pandemic. A U.S. district judge ruled last month any ballots that arrive in clerks' offices by November 9th will be counted as long as they're postmarked by Election Day. A federal court struck that down. Democrats will most likely appeal now to the U.S. Supreme Court. Recent data shows Itasca County is at an uncontrolled level of COVID-19 spread. As of this morning, total positive cases among Itasca County residents stands at 506, which is double the cases since September 12th. Officials say the spread is largely due to formal and informal gatherings that were unsafe. Itasca County's Public Health Department manager urges residents to avoid unsafe gatherings, wear their mask, and maintain a distance of at least 6 feet. To keep up with current case data from Itasca County, head to our website.
Starting today, indoor public places throughout Wisconsin will be under a strict capacity limit as the state sees some of the worst COVID-19 trends across the country. Earlier this week, Governor Tony Evers ordered all public gatherings must be limited to 25% of a room or building's capacity. The order went into effect at 8 o'clock this morning. It's expected to last through November 6th. The order includes bars and restaurants. It does not include campaign events, schools, or churches.
Restaurants in Minnesota can now seat more people together after the state released new guidance. Restaurants can now seat up to 10 people at one table in a dining room. If they have a bar area, they can now seat up to 4 people together. Tables still have to be 6 feet apart. State reps say the new guidelines came after conversations with bar and restaurant owners. They hope the new flexibility will help businesses stay afloat as the outdoor dining season comes to an end.
A Duluth restaurant open for nearly 40 years has closed its doors for good due to the pandemic. Mike's Western Cafe on West Superior Street, known for its home-style cooking, shut down on March 18th. Owner Mike Crocker and his wife say they could not make a living with reduced capacity, so they decided to close. As the announcement circulated on social media, many in the Northland said they lost a part of their family with this closure. But there is some good news. The couple says they're not ready to retire and are thinking about relocating the restaurant to another area in the future.
Halloween is scary close as Carlton's Haunted Shack is set to open tomorrow. The Haunted Shack team will be putting on a safe yet scary 27th season this year. With COVID-19 at the forefront of planning, organizers redid the entire haunted attraction and incorporated COVID safety guidelines. They've added 3 more nights and face masks will be required. Temperatures will also be taken and anyone working or attending the attraction will go through a pre-COVID screening. For more information on times and admission, head to our website.
Ashland County residents have dodged a proposed vehicle registration tax. The wheel tax would have charged residents $25 per vehicle to make up for an estimated $25 per vehicle to make up for an estimated $430,000 shortfall in next year's county budget. According to the Ashland Daily Press, county board members decided not to vote on the proposal, citing residents' complaints as one of the reasons. The county will now take $250,000 from savings to fund county operations and borrow $1 million to pay for road projects. The county is also looking at a resort tax as a funding option.
The Duluth Library Foundation received a big grant to help reduce Duluth's opportunity gap. The $25,000 grant came from the Lloyd K. Johnson Foundation. A new citywide library-led initiative focuses on early childhood intervention to increase the likelihood that preschoolers will succeed in kindergarten. The Library Foundation's executive director says they'll be working to identify problems and develop solutions to get kids ready for school.
Still to come on Live Local CBS 3, do you wonder what your kids think about this year's presidential candidates? This week's Eye on Parenting has the details.
Today's high of 62, 7 degrees warmer than normal. Tomorrow, 72 is very doable, but only for tomorrow. By Saturday, we cool down again. Hey, tonight there's a slight chance of showers after midnight. Will those spill into much of the daylight hours on Friday? We'll take a look at both counts coming up after this break.
Live, local, CBS 3 News at 6 with Kristen Vaki, Anthony Matt, Kelly Hinson, and weather with meteorologist Dave Anderson on Live, local, CBS 3.
Season 2 is
The
here,
Kelly
y'all.
Clarkson Show, weekdays at 3 on CBS 3.
Welcome to Medical Insight, a weekly healthcare feature brought to you by the experts at Essentia Health. Here's your host, Louis St. George.
Today on Medical Insight, Dr. Jamie Conniff talks about an increasingly common affliction, asthma, which is a disease of the lungs that can affect your ability to breathe.
Classic symptoms that we talk about for asthma are shortness of breath, wheezing, cough. Those are the things that you look for. Sometimes it's subtle, sometimes it is a child who's getting winded a lot more quickly than their friends. Or it's somebody who wheezes a lot more than their siblings do after getting a viral infection. The mainstay treatment for asthma, from the medication perspective, is inhalers. Those are medicines that are delivered through a device that you hold up to your mouth and breathe in and inhale into your lungs.
Diagnosis is important so that it can be treated properly. At Essentia, every patient has an asthma action plan.
It is one of those kind of scary conditions because you can feel fine and still be at risk for having a severe exacerbation that could lead to hospitalization, intubation in the intensive care unit, and even death. We live in this beautiful part of the world where we want to be spending time outside, exercising, and enjoying the outdoors. And if we can't do that because we can't breathe when we go outside, then that's a problem. If we're ignoring symptoms of asthma and then those symptoms are getting in the way of that enjoyment, it's really this cascading effect on our health, that goes beyond just the lungs to our overall well-being, now and decades down the road.
For Medical Insight, I'm Louis St. George.
To learn more about this and other health topics, visit essentiahealth.org/medical insight.
Our seniors that are being hit the hardest, they're frightened. And I want them to know that their health and safety will be my responsibility if I'm your president. And I'll have from day one, ready to go, the best medical experts and scientists to advise on our response. And I will not abandon you. It's a simple proposition, folks. We're all in this together. We got to fight this together. We'll emerge from this stronger because we did it together. I'm Joe Biden, and I approve this message.
The role of a journalist is to report about what our government is doing.
The Supreme Court is at the center of a monumental battle.
I feel an incredible responsibility.
This is the moment.
We have to make sure that we're right, that we're fair.
The president said he wants this done before Election Day. Can it be done?
And bring Americans a greater understanding, but also hopefully bring Americans closer together. That's why I wanted to become a journalist.
This is the moment.
CBS 3 News is brought to you by Fond du Duluth Casino.
The Kelly Clarkson Show, right here.
Weekdays at 3 on CBS 3. Now, the CBS 3 Duluth WeatherMax forecast with meteorologist Dave Anderson.
Well, here's a picture coming in from this afternoon of our warm front approaching Ely Lake in Evelyn. John, our good friend there, sends this in. And yeah, you can see mostly blue sky up aloft, but high, thin clouds are creeping in. And that's how warm fronts work. First, they create high, thin clouds, and then they get lower and thicker. And by the time the front is here, you could get some showers. And we do have a chance for showers buzzing into our region after midnight tonight. Might last 6 to 8 hours, only a 20 to 30% chance. And then by Tomorrow afternoon it'll be sunny again and warmer than today even. We had 60s today for most towns. Tomorrow most places should have the 70s, but only for one day. The offer expires as early as Saturday. Here's what we get right now at the airport in Duluth. It's 57. The relative humidity is 37%, and the southeasterly winds running 9 miles per hour. 30.6 is the barometric pressure, which is on the higher side. Metric equivalent is 1,018 millibars. Normal is about 1,013. Taking a look at the current temperatures, it looks like things have been corrected in International Falls, no longer reporting 45. Now 55 seems to be right in the mix with that northern tier lift territory here. Ely's there as well, so is Orr, along with International Falls and Big Fork. We also have 50s on the Mesabi Range at this hour, 50s on the North Shore, even upper 50s down as far south as places like Moose Lake and into Wisconsin. Looks like the temperatures there run from 57 in Solon Springs to 59 in Ashland, and then mid-50s happening for us in the Upper Peninsula at this hour. Overnight low temps here tonight likely will be in the 40s because that warm front approaching will keep temperatures indeed, wouldn't you know it, go figure, on the warmer side. Doppler map right now shows those high thin clouds filtering into our region with that advance of the warm front, mostly in Minnesota at this hour, but folks in Wisconsin and the UP will get their turn here as the night goes on. And like I mentioned, after midnight, there's a slight chance for rain showers that'll come across. The shower chance isn't very impressive. We need a lot of rain. This isn't going to do it for us. And once the warm front passes, of course, then we're going to get warmer conditions, as I mentioned, and it'll be like that for Friday. Then it cools down already by Saturday. We drop into the mid-50s again, but it will be dry on Saturday. Next chance for rain, that should be with us on Sunday from this low-pressure system, but even that one's only a 20 to 30% chance at best. So the drought conditions many of us have will continue. Now, here's what's happening tonight in Minnesota. The temperatures, they're going to go from 42 near places like Ely to as warm as 50 on Park Point. And there's the 30% rain chance. For Wisconsin, you only get a 20% rain chance, and you have to share that with the UP as well. Low temps will be in the mid-40s. For tomorrow, though, look at those temperatures. Wisconsin and Upper Peninsula numbers run 73 to 76. Minnesota numbers will run 70 to 75 for most places, though in Cook County, you'll be a little bit cooler in the upper 60s, but even that's 10 to 15 degrees warmer than normal. And it shall not last. It will already pass as early as Saturday. Sunshine will linger, but the high temp will only be 55. And then for Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, there's that next slight rain chance. Following that, Kristen and Tony, we fall into the lower 50s. So the party, temperature-wise, is going to be over soon.
I would actually hope that those rain chances pay off my allergies the last couple days with all the dry dust and the leaves and everything making their way through the air. Kind of going a little crazy.
Well, let's hope then it pays off tonight and you're all right tomorrow.
We'll see. Thanks, Dave.
You probably know where you stand when it comes to voting in this year's election.
Yeah, but what do your kids know about the candidates? A new study sheds some light on that. CBS3's Leanne Valdez explains.
From commercials to billboards to yard signs, there's no doubt this is an election year. While the ads target adult voters, studies show kids are also being influenced. Researchers interviewed 187 kindergartners through fifth graders 1 month before and 1 month after the 2016 election. They found nearly 80% were able to correctly identify the candidates and 74% described at least one of their policies. But they also found kids' political knowledge was influenced by their parents' views and was sometimes limited or incorrect. Researchers say parents should use the election as an educational opportunity. Watch age-appropriate news programs with your kids. Encourage your child to think outside party lines and focus on political issues that matter most to them. And talk to them about engaging in respectful debates with others, with ways to help your kids understand politics.
You're never going to believe it. Remember the big...
The study's authors say the findings suggest that children are paying close attention to politics, and it's important to present accurate information to them.
Ahead in sports, the Vikings get set for their third straight trip to Seattle. A preview of Sunday's matchup coming up right after the break.
Get your new UTV from Duluth Lawn and Sports, the region's largest power sports dealer.
CBS3 live cams are brought to you by Kohler Chevrolet Buick GMC Cadillac. You're not just getting a car, you're getting Kohler.
Clean water. Some of us take it for granted. Not me. I'm Beth Myers. I have the honor of representing you in the State Assembly. It wasn't that long ago that my family was struggling. We went 7 years without running water. The health of our families and our economy depends on clean water. That's why I'm fighting so hard against special interests who want to pollute our land and water. I'm Beth Myers, and I promise I will never take you or the Northland for granted.
It's time for the annual Subaru Love a Pet adoption event. Join us virtually this year. For the month of October, there will be discounted adoption fees for dogs and cats, along with featured pets of the day. Visit animalallies.net for featured pets and event details. Miller Hill Subaru and participating shelters are excited to find loving homes for pets and bring you this event virtually. Visit animalallies.net for adoptable pets and details.
I'm Tina Smith. I approve this message. It's frustrating in Washington sometimes. It is hard to get things done, but you have to keep on trying. If you look for that common ground, you can figure it out. Here's an example. There is a real shortage of access to maternal care in small towns and rural areas. So I teamed up with Lisa Murkowski from Alaska, who sees exactly the same thing in her state. And it doesn't matter that I'm a Democrat and she's a Republican. We both see the same problem. If you try, you can find common ground. And I think that's what I'm in Washington to do.
I'm Quinn Nystrom, and I approve this message.
Pete Stauber and our healthcare. It's like the fox guarding the hen house. Stauber took tens of thousands of dollars from corporate special interests, like the healthcare industry, and voted against lowering drug prices 5 times. Stauber even voted to let insurance companies sell junk plans that deny coverage for people with pre-existing conditions. We can't trust Pete Stauber to guard our healthcare.
You are not alone. Our whole community is pulling together, from your healthcare team to your first responders to your police force, to keep our community healthy and safe. If you can, please stay home during this time. This will slow the spread of the virus and can help save lives. By staying apart, we keep our community together. For the latest on COVID-19, please visit the CDC and Minnesota Department of Health websites. We're ready.
We're united.
We're here.
Welcome back to gaming excitement in downtown Duluth. Fond du Lac Casino is currently open 10 a.m. to 2 a.m. daily with a large selection of slot games available to brighten your day. The entire gaming floor is currently non-smoking with social distancing and COVID-19 protocols in place. We want you to have fun, but also stay safe when you visit. Log on to fondduluthcasino.com for the most up-to-date information during these ever-changing times. We're looking forward to seeing you smile under that face cover while you
have a great time out at Fond du Lac.
The Kelly Clarkson Show, weekdays at 3 on CBS3.
As we know right now, the NCHE is shooting for late in November to officially start their season, but they have not confirmed or changed their intention since early September. For now, teams can practice at UMD. Athletes are still preparing to start the season as if it will be moving forward in November. They're still able to practice as if they're in season in conjunction with local, state, and institutional guidelines in place. Yesterday, Blake Biondi said that they're getting together as a team, but doing their best to follow those guidelines and keep it as close to a Bulldog bubble as they can.
We've been practicing a lot, at least, so we've been able to be on the ice. Coach Sandlin's been on the ice with us. We've been obviously a full team together. But, yeah, I think we're just kind of trying to create our own mini bubble right now. I mean, I think it's really good for us, honestly. We've been with the guys a lot, like great for team bonding and stuff. But other than that, yeah, just like a mini bubble, just kind of to practice. If you got a class like in person, you go to the school. But other than that, it's just Zoom practice back to your apartment right now, just because we're doing whatever we can to play, and that's what you got to do because we obviously want to play this year. So.
For the third consecutive season, the Vikings will head west this weekend to face the Seahawks on Sunday night. It's a place where the Vikings have struggled heavily as of late. Their last victory in Seattle came all the way back in 2006. 6 straight losses in a place where the team relies on the 12th man in key situations. This time around, there will be no fans, and Vikings running back Dalvin Cook thinks that may play in the Vikings' favor.
That 12th man is real in Seattle. I don't know about the fan situation this week. But before, when we played there, that crowd noise was definitely an impact on whatever we had going on And, you know, today's society is different, you know, without fans. So, you know, we got to get used to that. And I think it might help us at the end of the day.
Kickoff between the Vikings and Seahawks is scheduled for 7:20 on Sunday. Prep volleyball has returned in Minnesota as a number of area teams will open up their regular season tonight. That includes in Cloquet, where the Lumberjacks will host Hermantown. Also at Duluth-Denfeld, the Hunters open up their season when they welcome in Grand Rapids. Both games are scheduled for 7 p.m., and we'll have those highlights right here on CBS3 at 10. Finally, if you ever wanted to see Giannis Antetokounmpo play football, now may be your chance. The Greek Freak, along with his brothers, have now been added as playable characters in the video game Madden 21. He won't be added to an NFL team, but he will be part of the Yard mode, which is similar to backyard football. The man is 6'11", has a 7'3" wingspan, so you figure he's going to be hauling in some touchdowns in the end zone there, Kristen and Tony.
I would think so, yeah.
I think he's probably a player that you'd want on your team. Well, tonight on the CBS3 News at 10, thousands of St. Louis County residents are in financial limbo as they await a COVID relief package. Tonight at 10, we hear from Duluth's Mayor Emily Larson on why she's frustrated and what the future could look like for those counting on a stimulus check. Well, for some, going viral is a bad thing, right? While for others, it's actually a pretty cool thing.
Have you ever gone viral?
No.
Even kind of mini Northland viral?
I feel like my dog goes more viral than I do.
Okay, I never have either. But this guy has. He's a skateboarding, ocean spray drinking TikTok legend. He's finding out that going viral is a good thing. Nathan Apodaca says his car recently broke down and he had to get to work. He grabbed his skateboard and a bottle of ocean spray from his car and recorded himself skateboarding. Now get this, some people get all of the luck. The video caught the eye of Ocean Spray officials, so what did they do? They showed up at his house this week, surprising him with a new truck filled with their drinks. Why can't that happen to me? Good for him, but why can't that happen to me?
Yeah, that wouldn't be too bad of a surprise.
Yeah.
Brand new truck, bunch of juice.
Bunch of juice? Yeah, I guess I would need to do TikTok, you know, for that to happen.
Yeah,
so
I think
since I don't, my hands are tied.
On there. Yeah. Well, Dave, tomorrow, I'm just looking ahead. I know, I can't help it. It's Friday, and it's going to be a beautiful day.
A beautiful day for TikTok dancing.
There we go. Little
Get those
skateboarding.
out there.
Yeah.
If you can squeeze it in with all the activities one could do tomorrow with sunshine and a warm front bringing high temps in the 70s in October. Well, high pressure, that'll hold on to us through Saturday, keep the sunny sky going, but the temperatures will depart with a wind shift. And so once we get a more northerly wind coming in Saturday, we drop the temp back to normal, which is 55. And then come Sunday, we get our next rain chance, which is just a slight one, but it could last through Tuesday. We do still have drought conditions around the region. We could use the rain if it comes across.
We'll see you at 10.